All right, everyone. Hello. We are back at a Damn You're Beautiful talk. And today is very, very, very special because for the first time ever, I have a guest on my show. And so this is really cool because I'm really excited to collab and planning to do more collabs later on just to have more input and have more insight on the topics that we're talking about. So today we're going to kind of be talking about this really important topic. And we're gonna gear it towards more of our Hmong community, and we're gonna talk about creating positive sisterhood. And so today I have my guest here, Liberty.
Hi,
She's
everyone.
she's wonderful, and I'm just gonna let her introduce herself. So you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes. So my name is Liberty. I'm super honored to be a part of City's video. She actually reached out to me after I posted a status on Facebook. I don't even know, like, what was it, March or even, I think so. Yeah, March or April. I know we've been planning this video for a while. And so I guess a little bit about myself is I'm currently a registered nurse right now during the whole entire pandemic thing. I'm a Hmong American. I just graduated in December of last year, 2019. And right now, I'm just kind of doing my own thing, like being independent, really learning how to become an amazing nurse and really loving the career I'm in and loving myself. I guess during that time, during March, when I posted that status, it wasn't really geared towards anyone or anything. It was just something that I've been kind of feeling. I actually posted about women empowerment and just like bashing on each other and, just things like that where it's just not relevant anymore. And so, I posted that, and then I guess City reached out to me and that caught her attention. And so now we're here making a video. And so, yeah.
Yes, I'm so happy to
Mm-hmm.
have you. And I just want to also say, I have you as a friend on Facebook and I follow you, and, you're just very inspirational. It's not, you're just like being you, and you're just doing your
Oh,
own
thanks.
thing, and you don't
Yeah.
really pay no mind to what others are probably saying about you or doing, whatever. But I just know that people, they love you.
Thanks.
Yeah.
That means a lot.
Yeah, and again, being a nurse around this time too. I mean, being a nurse anytime, but being a nurse especially around this time is
Yeah,
so
right.
crucial. And so we just thank you for
Oh,
what you're
thanks.
doing, and especially because you just became a nurse not too long ago, right?
Yeah, just maybe a month or so in now. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm still on training, but, still doing my thing. So,
Right.
yes.
So that's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. So what you were talking about, like that post that you posted up on Facebook, it stood out to me because I think it's something that I also see in our community where sometimes we don't come together as sisters, like Hmong sisters,
Mm-hmm.
to build each other up. But instead, when someone is doing good, or when someone else is succeeding, we tend to find a way to talk badly about them or not really support them, and just kind of like uh, say something or bash on them. I kind of just want to ask you, what do you feel like sisterhood means to you? I mean, like imagining like how you grew up and
Right.
what you were taught to believe in, like supporting uh, or having relationships with other Hmong sisters, and just
Mm-hmm.
kind of like what your experiences is and how it's shaped you to see what sisterhood means to you.
Yeah, and so I guess like I said during that time when I did post that post, I'm the type of person who never really likes to rant at all on Facebook, but I just felt like it was really relevant at that time in my life just because I felt like there was so many negative things happening to me, and I feel like even post graduation, like I'm more at home where I get to see my friends, I get to be around people that I'm used to again, and so with that comes along a lot of things where people are saying a lot of things about you, saying a lot of things to you. And so, I guess that status was, like you said, it was mainly about women empowerment and just forgiveness and moving forward and just really not holding a burden on each other. And so, I guess sisterhood means to me is to be able to forgive and not hold grudges to each other, just because I feel like that's such a waste of time. Whether that's your friend, that's your family, like either way, you both are women, you guys can discuss about your situation and kind of get over it, you know. And that's kind of what I was leaning towards, just because I've seen so many girls in certain situations where, I don't know, I just think about, like, for example, like a girl and a guy and another girl, like, oh, the guy cheats on the girl with another girl, the girl bashes on each other, rather than like going against the guy, when really it's the guy's fault who literally caused the whole situation. And I hate seeing that type of situation. I've seen it all over Facebook with a bunch of different type of friend groups, and it's just kind of like, you know, what's the point of that when you guys should be supporting each other? You know, you both are women, you both have feelings, and you guys probably are going through the same thing. So yeah, I guess their sisterhood is, there's so many meanings to it, but I think overall it's just kind of like forgiveness, to not have such a heavy heart, and just really understand each other and have that conversation with each other.
Mm,
Yeah.
right.
Mm-hmm.
So, when you say, forgiveness and not have a heavy heart, why do you feel like sometimes it's hard? Why do you feel like it's hard
Right.
to get over things and get over the fact that something bad happened between y'all, or get over the fact that maybe someone is, seems to be succeeding more than you? Honestly, sometimes
Mm-hmm.
I felt that way too, where I see people on Facebook like working out or succeeding doing stuff. I'm just like,
Right.
dang, like sometimes I get jealous
Yeah,
and I
like
get
that could be
angry
me,
too.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And
So
so, I mean, I guess it goes down to self-love, you know, like, do you love yourself enough to really care about comparing yourself to these other people? And honestly, I'm not trying to compare my success with any other, but I've noticed that after me being successful, there's also a lot of burden with that too, in which I feel like no one should ever feel bad about being successful. No one should ever feel bad about posting about them being excited about, you know, going to school or getting their first job, you know. And it's just little things like that where you kind of realize that there's certain people in your life that don't like to see that happen. And I think it comes down to self-love and how they feel about themselves, you know. And so I guess at that point, like, either they kind of have to work through whatever they're going through, and like I said, like, no one really knows exactly what each other are going through. So at the end of the day, having that conversation and just talking to each other and really understanding where each other is coming from, you know, is what will kind of just solve the problems. No, not gonna lie, sometimes I feel like that. I mean, scrolling through Instagram, looking at people's like posts and seeing how they're living their life, you know, it's really different when reality they're probably not even living their life like that. And so there's no need to compare and like develop hatred and grudges towards somebody because you kind of wish that you had that life, you know.
it's funny you just I just thought of something that came up because yesterday I stayed up really late until like
Oh yeah,
3 a.m. because I was writing a blog post
girl.
about I was writing a blog post on my blog about, adulting and just kind of like my journey, my struggles of adulting. And
Yeah.
kind of what you said, like, don't compare yourself to other people online. I wrote this little sentence in my blog post, like, don't expect Gandhi to be like Barack Obama, right?
Yeah,
Because
no, that's
that's
true.
what I said. I
Yeah.
said, everyone has their own life purpose. Everyone has their own path. Everyone has their own special abilities. And if you expect you to be like someone else, then you're going on the wrong path. Because if Gandhi was trying to be the president and trying to do all this like
Right.
Barack Obama, I mean, they didn't live at the same time, but just imagine if they
Hmm.
did at the same time. Like if he was trying to be like Barack Obama tried to be like Gandhi, it wouldn't
It would not work
would
out, you
not work
know.
out, right?
Two
Because they're
different people, but amazing purposes, you know.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And so I just like want to put that in people's head too, that just because there's one way that people are promoting how to live, how to look like on social media, that's not
Hmm.
necessarily what you're supposed to be doing, right?
Exactly. For
Mm.
sure. And so that's why it's just kind of like, you know, when I see these things about women hating on each other, it's just kind of like, you know, you are so amazing in your own way and you are so amazing in different ways, you know. So it's just kind of like there's no need to kind of have that hatred towards each other when really you guys both have a purpose in life. So I don't know, some people might think I'm wrong that when it comes down to it, self-love, you know, but I personally, I've experienced it enough to really realize about the other person and realize that they have a lot of like other insecurities where they kind of used it against other people to put their negativity off of, you know? And
Mm-hmm.
so, yeah, I don't know. I guess it's just really hard, and everybody handles situations differently.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I like to just be upfront, get it over with, and we can be cool and see each other, say hi, you know, but you know, we're not obviously going to be like best friends is what I'm expecting everybody to be like, but at least just be mature about situations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so I heard you say like you've experienced it enough. So you know,
Mhm.
if you want to share, you know, like
Oh yeah.
what do you mean by like like you've been through enough experiences? And like an additional question I just want to know is like how have you been so resilient? What is it that keeps you going even after you go through these experiences with getting, you know, some hate or some um I don't know, not enough love from the people, or just random people that might be, you know, putting you down because you're doing great things. You're becoming a nurse, and you know, and I see you in your booth thing, and you both seem
Oh
very happy, and you know,
yeah.
just you have things that a lot of people would love to have, and that's something that's great. But you know, sometimes it comes with some people hating on you and stuff. So
Yeah.
what are some experiences that you've grown from, and what is it
Mhm.
that keeps you going?
Right. Well, I feel just like anyone in general can relate to me, you know, drama, you can never leave the drama. There's always some type of thing that people have their own opinions about you. And I think growing up, since I was younger, I've always been super talkative and super into making new friends, you know. And so growing up in my teens, that was never a problem. But I guess once I started encountering situations where people would say certain things about me, I know my first time handling it, it was very hard on me. Like I probably cried to my family or to my cousins about it just because it was something that I wasn't used to. Like, why are people saying these things about me? You know, it's not true. But then I guess eventually throughout my whole life, the thing that really helped me was going to college and kind of just leaving it behind and just being like, you know, I don't really have time for this. And honestly, nursing school is hard. You know, my life is 100% nursing. And so going to nursing school, I just didn't focus on all the negativity. And I was kind of just more focusing on my goal, my life, and just everything I want to do for myself. But little did I know during those times, like there were still people kind of lingering, you know, saying certain things. And you know, not all the time was it saying certain things, but it would just be things where I would find out that, you know, certain people feel certain ways. And so it's just kind of like, oh, like, you know, I don't even have to be present for people to kind of judge you. Like you said, social media does a lot. And I've always been active on social media. And so, yeah, I guess for me, the way I handled things was kind of just being upfront and letting them know, like, hey, this is how you feel about me. Like, do you want to kind of discuss it more? And I guess with my whole entire experience, I've noticed the ones that hurt the most are your closest friends or your closest people. You know, I had encounters where it would be random people like, okay, what the heck, what are they saying? And it doesn't really matter. But I think it hurts more definitely when it's your close people where you're like, wow, I never thought I could feel that type of betrayal or that type of negativity from someone who I saw so much positivity from, you know? And so, yeah, I think you just have to really learn how to be resilient and really put your foot down, because I think I've just been so nice throughout my whole entire life. And I think people know that about me too. Like it's kind of easy kind of to push me around, but I think I've really learned to kind of just grow a tough skin and just be upfront, whether that's them hating me. And I've learned that, you know, not everyone's going to like you even after you talk to them, and that's fine. As long as I put my opinion out there, spill my truth, then that's all that matters, and we can move on with our life. And you know, whatever they have on me is kind of on themselves at this point. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's kind of my experience. There's, you know, everybody has their little drama things in their life, but yeah, I think another thing would be just because I have a lot of girlfriends, like super close girls, and you know, when that comes about, I don't know, I hate saying like, oh, girls are all about drama, but like you said, a lot of people like to compare themselves to another the same gender, you know, and it's really sad when we should just all be supporting each other. So
Mm. Yeah.
yeah.
You know, I wanted to say something after that, but
Hmm.
I want to actually ask you some additional questions first,
Yeah.
because you some questions just came up when you were talking, or some comments too.
Uh-huh.
I think one thing you said was, even when you were little, people were already kind of doing that to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you've always just kind of carried yourself in a very positive way. And when sometimes you're like that, some people just tend to hate. That's the only word I can use. I don't know what other
Yeah.
word. But what is it? But what you said you let it go. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that that's something that's I want to emphasize, is that you let it go, because
I didn't even realize I said that.
you did. You said when you went to college, you just let it all go, and that's
Right.
I just like, yeah, that's so true, because if you continue to hold on to that anger, or that pain, or that sadness, to why people don't like you, to why your close loved ones are hating on you now, or blah blah blah,
Mm-hmm.
then you're just gonna fester in it, and you can't continue doing what you're supposed to be doing. And so
Right.
I think it's very important to sometimes just let things go and let it be, even though
Definitely.
even though you will never get a sorry, even though you will never get any closure from the people that hurt you.
Mm-hmm.
That sometimes,
It's
for your
okay,
own
you know,
sanity, yeah,
for sure.
it's okay to just let it go. And
Mm-hmm.
another thing, I'm trying to remember what you said too, is, you know sometimes it's hard to just let things go, and
Yeah.
not understand why people don't like you, and you didn't do anything wrong to them, right? Like, you're checking
Mhm.
yourself too. You're thinking, I don't think I did anything wrong. I didn't say anything bad. I wasn't talking smack. I wasn't being rude. Why is this person being so rude to me? And what is it that helps you let it go? What is your process of thinking? Or is there people that you confide in to help give you guidance on these types of situations that you
Situations.
go
Yeah.
through in your life? Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so what is it that helps you let
Oh,
go?
yeah. I mean, for sure, I have such a great support system. Like my family, my friends, they're all awesome to where I feel like I can talk to them about anything that happens in my life. So I am lucky enough to have that awesome support system that some people might not have, which is something that I take for granted sometimes. But I definitely have that support system to talk about situations that I'm going through in my life. On top of just me, honestly, not having enough time to just be negative, like I have so much in my life right now that I can't focus on certain things that people are saying. Like you said, I can't always get answers, and that's okay, because that's so much time on me to try to figure things out, so much negativity to put myself through. And so yeah, I just think like you just kind of have to learn how to keep yourself busy and have an awesome support system, and not really take people's opinion about yourself so harshly. And
Mhm.
so yeah, I guess bringing in the Hmong sister aspect into this whole conversation, I think being a Hmong woman is also very difficult, where you have a lot of expectations, and you know it kind of feels like, I guess you can say, a competition with each other, just because as your parents, I don't know, for myself, my parents didn't come from the best education, and you kind of want to prove yourself to your family, to your friends, to your loved ones. And I feel like it's kind of like people think it's a competition with everything. And so it's just like, no, we're all in this together. We're minorities, we're Hmong American women. Like, we can literally lift each other up and just support each other, whether that's supporting each other's business, supporting someone's career, and doing all those things for each other. So
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. I definitely agree with that. And
Mm-hmm.
I think what you just said too, I think sometimes how we view supporting each other as women sometimes sprouts from our childhood too.
Oh, for
Because,
sure.
for me, I'm a little bit different than you, where you
Mm-hmm.
said that you had, ever since you were young, a lot of girlfriends, a lot of
Right.
just good relationships with women or girls. For me, I
Mm-hmm.
did grow up with a group of girl cousins too,
Mm-hmm.
but I also grew up being around my brothers a lot. Um,
Yeah.
and maybe it's just because of my difference of personality, but when I was around the girls, when I was around my mom, I always felt so trapped. I always felt like
Mm-hmm.
I had so many expectations, or I had to act a certain way, or I had to worry about things that I necessarily didn't really care about, but I
Yeah.
just did it because it was part of the group. I was trying to conform when I was younger. And for me,
Yeah.
I actually, as I grew up, I realized just being around a lot of girls was really hard for me. I
Mhm.
honestly grew up feeling like being around a lot of girls was too dramatic, and it was
Mhm.
just not my style and my vibe. And so I grew up
Yeah.
really just not really wanting to hang out with girls that much. And so
Mhm.
I always had probably one or two girlfriends, but it was always a lot of guy friends. But I wasn't really close to them either.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just had this stigma for a long time when I was younger
Mhm.
that being around a lot of girls was just too much for me.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
definitely, it has definitely changed now. But I think that
Mhm.
was that just because I was how I grew up. Just a lot of negative feedback from growing up. As you know, my mom, she. I love her. We have a great relationship now, but I think it's all Hmong parents. Sometimes they just compare you to a lot of people. They compare you
Oh
to
yeah.
a person. They don't really know how to hold your feelings or take care of your feelings. But and I'm not
Mhm.
saying all Hmong parents, but just majority. Not
Majority
all,
for
not all,
sure.
but they just don't know how to praise you, but they just know how to kind of put you down sometimes. Because I
Yeah.
I was put down a lot for my how I looked, and so
Mhm.
I carried that insecurity with me for a long, long time, and
For
it made me
sure.
have a type of a view on Hmong women, just
Mhm.
because of what I saw and what I experienced. So for a long time, it was really hard for me to see Hmong women as a positive thing. And I felt like
Oh
even
right.
holding that identity was very at a disadvantage for me for a long time.
Mhm.
But what? That's
I
why
could
I'm curious.
yeah.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh no, I said I was just gonna kind of comment. Like I could definitely see, not everybody's like me where they grow up getting along with other girls. Because I grew up as such a girly girl, and I think that's another factor that helped me get along with so many people, so many girls at least so easily. Versus like you, other people can kind of relate to you where they just felt like like they had that stigma. It's too dramatic and too much.
Mm-hmm.
But when you bring that aspect of your mom and Hmong women having to feel compared to each other. And when I think about it, it's not like your parents are like, oh, how come you're not like your boy cousin like this? They're always comparing you to another woman. So it's really unfair that things happen the way they happen. But I just really think that it's just the way that you handle yourself and you put yourself out there and kind of understand that you don't have to listen to what your parents are comparing yourself to, and even yourself. Like you don't even have to compare yourself to anybody. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, great. No, that I think it sounds like having a really awesome support system is something that helped you really thrive and be resilient. That the
Hmm.
people that you're surrounded with, the people that loves you, really wants the best for you. And I hear you said that when you were in college, you knew that you were going to be a nurse. Is that right? Is that what you felt?
Yes.
You
Yep.
already knew. And so I
Hmm.
kind of just want to go into also, how did you know, or how did you feel or know that you wanted to be a nurse? Because sometimes
Right.
when people go into college, we don't know what we want to do. And that's where we kind of get lost, right?
Oh,
We
for
don't
sure.
we have no idea. But how did you know? Um and I guess let's go with that first before I ask
Hmm.
another question.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Well, honestly, I just remember being in elementary and my older sister telling me like, what do you want to do for your life? And she was giving me all these options, and I think she described nursing as helping people when they're sick, and that's how I just remembered it as a little kid. And I'm like, "Oh, I want to do that." And so throughout my whole life, I geared myself to becoming a nurse. I did everything around nursing. I took CNA classes when I was in high school. I made sure I liked science, and so I really made my life gear around becoming a nurse. And so,
Did you like science though? You said you
I
made sure.
mean, science was a different story, girl. I mean, I had to make sure I liked it so I can pass. And so, yeah, I guess for me, nursing has been something that has always been in my life where it wasn't forced. So I feel like my parents were never the ones to be like, you have to be a doctor, you have to be a nurse, like make sure you're going to school to do that. And I think it was just a treat for them to hear that, oh, I want to be a nurse. You know, there's always that thing where parents are like, people always think that their Hmong parents or Asian parents always force them to become that. But for me, it wasn't that situation. It was definitely something that I didn't think much about. And then once it started becoming like closer to being an adult, I was like, wow, I'm glad I picked this path, and it happened to be what I wanted to do. So yeah, I don't know. There's so many things with this career that's awesome, and that I was really fortunate to have known to want to be a nurse throughout the whole time of me becoming one. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's so cool. You've wanted to be a nurse ever since you were little, and you've done everything that you can to really focus your life on becoming a nurse, right?
yeah, pretty much is what I kind of did. And I guess now it's kind of my like, I feel like it's kind of my purpose now to help other people, you know, just because that's something I love to do throughout my whole college career. And even now being a nurse, I'm super busy right now, so it's a little bit harder to reach out to people and people to reach out to me because I haven't been posting much about it, you know. And so yeah, I feel like my purpose now is kind of just to help other Hmong women strive in this career, because it's something that you don't really see, you know. I
Mhm.
actually came from a nursing program where I was the only minority in there. I mean, there was another person, but you know, she was adopted, and it was different, you know. I'm not trying to compare, but it's just kind of like, it's different when you have parents who are immigrants where you have to prove yourself. And
Mhm.
so I guess, you know, just talking about that, life is just so busy, you know. So any type of negativity, I was like, I don't have time for that right now. So
Mhm. And
mhm,
it sounds to me too that sometimes when sometimes, because we were talking about how sometimes why do other women, or if we talk specifically just in our community, like why do other Hmong sisters bash on another Hmong sister, we can kind of say um that sometimes it's because of the insecurity that they have, or the lack of direction or lack of purpose that they may be feeling,
mhm,
right? Or lack of guidance.
for sure.
And how I just lost my train of thought. I was just like, what am I
That's me
saying?
all the time. It's okay.
uh, um but oh gosh, what was I saying? Oh man.
Lack of direction and all
what
that.
what did you say? Because you said something that sprouted that comment. You said
Maybe I don't know at this point, but I guess to kind of comment towards that, you know, I feel like, you know, for people in my life who kind of saw me more of something like, oh, I'm always successful, I never fail in life. Just talking about me already knowing that I wanted to be a nurse since I was young, and then succeeding that goal, and then just kind of loving myself, having an awesome boyfriend in my life. You know, I think not everybody's direction is like mine. Everybody's is different, you know. And I think it's to the point where I'm just kind of like, you know, I see you as a sister. You can use me as a resource, you know, because, you know, a lot of Hmong girls I noticed want to become nurses too.
Mhm.
And that's to the point where I'm just like, you know, use me as a resource. Don't use me as something as you have to compare yourself to, or a competition, or someone you feel like I'm just rubbing myself off on social media as a certain way, you know. So I mean, definitely everybody's path is different, like what you said. And, you know, mine just happened to be not easy for sure. It's what people don't really understand. But I think they just need to realize to bring out the positive in what they see as a negative.
Mm.
Hmm.
Yep, that's definitely true. And
Yeah.
I think I remember actually what I was trying to say just as you were talking, because sometimes if you as a woman or among women or however you
Mhm.
identify yourself, um, that sometimes you said that your purpose in life now, you feel like you have a purpose to help people. And
Mhm.
sometimes people can't even think about helping others in creating that sisterhood, or even thinking about supporting another sister when they feel
Mhm.
insecure and when they feel a lack of guidance for themselves. And
Right.
so, you know, what do you let's talk, like what do we think is the root of them starting to feel that way? So,
Yeah.
what do you feel? What do you feel is the root of why people, or among women, become insecure, become hateful sometimes.
Mm-hmm. And I think that just definitely has to do with their background and how they were raised and how their parents, you know, grew them up as, luckily for me, like I said, my parents were never the ones to be like, you need to be this way.
Mm-hmm.
But I know it's very easy for Hmong families to be criticizing their daughters and expecting them to be a certain way. So I've been so lucky to have been raised to become so independent and, just really chasing my dreams. And so I think for others, it's just kind of like either you have to kind of just learn how to be on your own and kind of try to not escape your family, but kind of just escape the situation and kind of find yourself and not have other people's opinion really matter to you, whether that's your family, your friends, or even yourself.
Mm-hmm.